My name is Angel Herrera. I am 25, former Viking, class of 2017, and I have been doing real estate for 5 years. I work as a real estate agent, and I help investors buy, sell, and invest in real estate. I was born with a pre-existing condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, type 7A, and that is a condition where I lack collagen and proteins in my connective tissue. So it makes it difficult for my joints to stay in place due to high mobility at the tissue level. I was born in 1998, and at that time, there was not a lot of published information regarding Ehlers-Danlos. And so I believe when it took about maybe a year or so for to be diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos, or EDS for short. So it took about a year, and I was only one of few cases in the U.S. at the time that were reported um, with the severity that I had. So growing up, it definitely made me stand out. As having an individual who is physically disabled, well, obviously they stick out to most people, right? So growing up, I would go to school in a electric wheelchair. I use a manual wheelchair today for mobility reasons, just because as far as walking longevity distances, it is difficult. Um, Obviously, I have to do things, majority of things, a little slightly different than most people, but overall, I'd say I try to live a very normal life. I like to go have fun. I like to, you know, uh, watch sports, hang out with friends. Obviously, I run my own business, so I just have to take a little bit of a different approach than most people do. And I think the first thing that comes into mind is that most of my friends and family have not treated me very different to what most people might anticipate. Uh, Whether it's somebody who has a physical disability or a cognitive disability, one of the things is I think there's always an approach to treat those individuals slightly different because they believe they are limited in certain fashions. I don't get me wrong, I am limited physically, but I do believe I can do most things that most people can do, if not even well. But one of the things regarding that is I've had a really good support system in my family and friends to where I do need assistance or help, I'm able to get it from them. It's not something I have to ask for. One of the things that I struggled with growing up was asking for help because I would like to be independent, and sometimes my own pride would get in the way of actually asking for help. But in today's age, I am very good at asking my friends and family for help, and also they're very good at asking when I need help. So that's one of the things I would say I would take on that. So as far as healthcare providers go, I'm constantly going to doctor's appointments, mainly because my health is a major aspect of my life. I like to make sure I am doing the best of my abilities to be able to live a healthy lifestyle. One of those being, I just like to make sure that my body is functioning the way it should be, according to certain parameters that are set around my condition. So, for me, it's very important to have a good relationship with my providers. I constantly am checking in. I'm constantly trying to go to appointments because with one of the things about EDS is every case is unique. Not every case is the same. So making sure that I am taking care of myself and doing my own due diligence of taking care of myself as well is also very important. So as much as I'd like to depend on my doctors, that doctors also need me to put in my part of checking in frequently with them as well. As far as EDS goes, or Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, as far as that goes, one of the things I think um, I will just really encourage people is, instead of limiting that individual because they may not necessarily do the things that you do on a day-to-day basis the same way that you do, um, I wouldn't necessarily put a limit on them. I would actually encourage you to have a conversation. Um, like I mentioned, I run my own business. I'm a real estate agent. I've sold, $1 million homes, and the reality is, I think most people would actually be surprised that I do that. For me, it's bare minimum. I have high goals. I've gone to college. I went to WSU. Went to school, and I run my own business. So for the most part, I think I would say don't limit people just because they don't necessarily fit inside the box. I would say definitely have a conversation, be open minded, just as I love to learn from you guys as well regarding different aspects of life. I think just keeping an open minded, and also I would say offering help is also nice, but at the same time, I would also say giving yourself the opportunity to help others is also a great way to learn as well. The biggest influence in my life, honestly, it has to probably be my family. My family has not treated me less than. My family has actually treated me just like anybody else, despite my limitations. And that's helped me build character, confidence, and keep my ambitions and keep my goals high. So again, I don't know how many of my former teachers are still at LSHs, but I'm sure if you were to ask any of them, they would say that I'm somebody who doesn't steer away from challenges, and that's all. That's all because of my parents and my family, always pushing me to be the best version of myself, no matter the obstacles. And I think that's what I would tell most people today is, don't give up when things don't come easy to you. You have to work at it, and trust me, when things get tough, you just got to persevere and go through it. Don't quit. I think today's generation sometimes quits a little too early. I think we need a little bit more persevering because if I'm trying and if I'm constantly working hard to achieve my goals, I can say as bluntly as I can, but there's no excuse as to why you can't achieve your goals either. I think anytime you go under the knife in a operation, I think every single one of those experiences is unique in itself, because again, you got to go through, getting IVs put into you, getting going under anesthesia, and waking up and not knowing exactly where you are. So I've had over 10 operations in my life, and every single one, I have a good idea always going into them what it's going to be like, what it's going to feel like, but every single one the experience is different. So I would say most medical challenges, most operations in my life have made a significant impact on me. And to this day, there may be continuous work to be done as far as being able to help me provide the best uh, lifestyle that I can regarding my health. So I don't know what the future holds regarding that, but I know that every single time I had to go through these medical uh, challenges, it's helped me learn and definitely learn something new about myself as well. I think the legacy I want to leave behind is I want people to remember me as, despite Angel having challenges, despite Angel having, certain limitations, um, whether that's physically, visually, whatever that may be, he always looked at the positive in life, was always ambitious, and whatever goals he put out for himself, he always achieved them. And to this day, despite me already meeting some of my goals, there's a lot more to go for me. So, um, for me, job's not done. So, not until I achieve my goals can I really say I left a legacy. But nah, I hope most people remember me as somebody who was ambitious, positive, had a happy outlook at life, and I can say this: I could probably have a lot of excuses as to maybe why things aren't going my way or why I may not be happy, but at the end of the day, it's my own personal choice of whether or not I want to be positive or negative. So I hope people remember me in a positive manner.